If we pull on the invisible thread, we can see tarot. Like all true things, it's tied to every aspect of our lives.
3, 2, 1.
From the music that we love to the movies we watch and even the people we know.
Tarot is everywhere and everything.
Welcome to the Invisible Thread.
Beat introvert. Loving, but just this introverted person. And feels it, but just doesn't. You almost think that he doesn't have emotion. It just, that's what I get from it. It just.
You know, it's interesting because a lot of people would immediately point to the King of Swords as being the emotionally neutral king. But in fact, for me, it's the King of Cups that is.
That's really weird because that's what I felt too. And I never ever discussed that with you. Ever. But that's what I get from this. It's an introverted thing, you know, but he feels deeply of people's needs, but he doesn't, because he's a master of his emotion, he doesn't express it. He knows it, but which makes him not emotional. And to me, people that don't show emotion are considered cold, ocean cold, almost conceited in a sense too, you know, like, oh, they're above that, you know. Oh yeah, he just, you know, walks in a room and looks around and feels everybody, you know, feels the vibe of the situation, but doesn't have any emotion. It's kind of interesting. You know, we just finished Devil Wears Prada, where the High Priestess was involved with Miranda, but you know what? She has a lot of King of Cups element in her.
Well, the High Priestess is Pisces energy. So it's water.
See, I knew you'd combine the astrology, but I'm just saying it like a lame man here, you know.
Yeah, but it's true. You picked up on that below the surface, right? Without knowing that. And the thing with all of the kings for me is that they are the strategists. So each king holding their element will take the King of Cups, and he is an emotional strategist. He uses his ability to navigate, to manipulate, and to understand feelings to get what the king needs. And that, I don't mean that in a nefarious way, but it's like, well, if you're the king of a kingdom, you're going to fall upon your strengths and what you do know and what you do understand.
Crown. That's a big, very big crown he wears on his head. And one thing I can sense about him is the fact of, he kind of, to me, if you're on the throne in the middle of the ocean, you're not afraid to sink. It just shows that you kind of can deal with danger, you know, like there's passion, because I love it when we go with the color aspects of it. But I also sense that danger doesn't really move him at all. I mean, it takes a lot of guts. That thing could be marble, and he's not sinking. I wonder again, what do you think keeps him afloat?
Well, as I said, he's a strategist. He understands he understands emotions so well that he's not subject to them. He can pick and choose what emotions to step into. He can pick and choose what to feel, what not to feel. As opposed to that Queen of Cups, who's kind of like the waves are splashing all around her. And there is no kind of discernment or control over that feeling. For him, he's above his element because he understands it that well.
And with complete balance, too, because if you think about it, you know, I've been in the ocean before on a raft, but if you're on that, you know, that throne's not that wide. So having complete balance and not getting teeter-totter left or right to fall back in the water or fall back in the emotion, we could say it. The balance has to be just extreme balance.
Yeah. And on that topic of balance, I love that you brought that up, because when I'm looking at the kings and queens elementally, I bring in their opposite element. So with the King of Cups, we also bring in the King of Pentacles, speaking of balance. So again, he's on solid ground, even though in an emotional landscape, he can utilize that pentacle energy that is his opposite to help create that balance.
And to me, you know, so we're talking about balance, and then you look at the beautiful Queen of Cups. I'm looking at her right now. I'll cut that.
You don't have to cut that.
So, but we talk about balance, but honestly, I think that the Queen of Cups is the opposite. I think the Queen of Cups is off balance. I know that I just sense that big time. Um, because she's taken it all in, but I just don't sense. I just think there's a sense of off balance with my Queen of Cups.
Yes, that's why there's a protectiveness to her. You'll notice that the queen's chalice has a lid on it, and the king's does not. So there's a protectiveness about her emotions there. Like she's keeping it under wraps because of the vulnerability.
Is she afraid too? She might spill that, I guess, the emotion too, which she winds up doing anyway. It's kind of weird, because she does it. To me, the Queen of Cups,
Yeah, but it's like it could all come out at once with her, right? As soon as that lid is off, all that water's coming flying out. That's why she keeps it so tightly under wraps. With the king, he's like, go ahead. I'm fine. I won't spill this cup. I'm steady. I know how to control it. Whereas she's like, oh gosh, I better I gotta be careful and keep the lid on, you know?
and she's again holding all the emotions of her world, all of it, from every person she met that day to every person that's involved with her life, holding all that emotion. And she's totally, you know, the Empress and all of her nurturing aspect of it, but you can sense so much of the Empress in her too.
From the nurture.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, the king and queen of cups are empaths, right? Water is a conduit for energy. So if we're talking about pure water, then they actually harness the power of water in every situation. So emotionally speaking, the queen of cups is like a living conduit for people's feelings. She's absorbent of them.
Now, of course, they're married. Most king and queens are, unless it's, there's some fishy going on, no pun. Well, what I'm, I was waiting for that joke. So, I mean, we could talk about all the symbology and the colorology and all the ologies that we have there, but let's discuss them if you want as a true couple, like a modern day couple.
Okay,
You
that's
know,
cool.
the first thing. Okay, so obviously you're a female. Tell me about their wedding. Like, what was their wedding like? You were there, remember?
Yes, absolutely. That was one of the most beautiful weddings I've ever been to. It was very free and open, and it was all about family and collaboration. So it was a potluck style wedding. Everybody contributed what they could to the collective. That's very much those two. The King and Queen of Cups want everyone to feel included emotionally and in every way, right? So the wedding was very celebrational in that sense. It wasn't just celebrating them as a couple, it's celebrating the family, the whole emotional picture of everyone involved. And the food was fucking awesome.
Oh, with a lot of seafood, right?
Yeah, the king and queen of cups are the chefs in the tarot for me. They understand food because they know, what nurtures.
Oh yeah, and again, well, and I want to thank you again for inviting me because you were allowed to bring a date. All that I gathered was from the Queen of Cups family. All they did was cry the whole time. And, and I'm sitting with her mother, you're going around meeting people. I met the grandmother, I met the aunts, and everybody is just crying. And all that they wanted to know was about me. And then I would start talking about myself. It's like, you know, I introduced myself. I was like, "Have you ever been in love before?" And I was like, "Well, I've had my heart
Mm-hmm.
broken." Oh, my poor baby. Her grandmother held my hand. She's patting it, and she's tearing up. And I'm telling her about some past lost loves. And yeah, and it was really, I couldn't believe all the the crying that was going on and, what I've experienced. What did you experience when it came to that?
Yeah, very emotional event for sure. And that's the thing with the King and Queen of Cups. So not only do they embody that element, they spread it. So everyone around or in their vicinity is going to feel the power of that, their emotional depth and their connection to each other. So when two water signs come together, it is highly, highly emotional. You can imagine, right? And everyone in this surrounding the circumstance is going to be subject to that as well. Empaths don't just feel the emotion, they set the stage for it. They can change it. These two together are very adept at that.
Well, remember when we walked in and it was really weird because it's supposed to be their day, but there was a care package for us at the gate. So we got, it was like they were so generous. It was a care package and it was pretty amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they remember we're wrapping it up. I think we got a couple seashells, a chalice, stuff like that. It was just didn't, and
All the things you need to feel safe and happy.
well, when I asked you, you and I were talking, we were drinking a little bit, remember? And we were in the corner. I was like, dude, why did they give us a bunch of shells? Why do you think they gave us shells in our care package?
Because shells come from the ocean and they contain the secrets of your psyche.
Wow. So
So
yes,
if you hold
I got,
those shells up to the light or to your ear, you get whispered secrets, emotional truths.
well, I remember you said, well, first of all, there's shells on her throne, and I was like, yeah, I remember that. She goes, well, one thing that the Queen of Cups does is she helps you break out of your shell of emotion, and I was like, wow, you totally blew my mind. Yeah, because when you're with her, you come out of your shell. And I thought it was a great metaphor that they put that in the care package too.
Yes. And I was very smart for saying so. That's true. That's true. Because of what I just said, right? They understand it so well that by the time you know what's going on, they already know your emotional truth. They already know the parts of yourself emotionally that you've been holding back. It's been intuited. It's almost like by osmosis, they can feel it themselves.
And I don't know, you're not wearing it now. You're wearing some other kind of pendant, but I'm wearing mine. So we got shells, but there was a fish pendant in there, which I was blown away. And I was like, this has got to be from the king, you know? Because, I just, you were like, well, you can make jewelry with the shells. But no, this was a real deal fish pendant. So I knew it. And I was kind of blown away about that too. I was like, that was an expensive gift they gave me? And then you go, well, it's I said, "What does this mean?" And his uncle, which is really weird, because you meet their family. By the way, everybody on the King of Cups side of the family, I didn't know if they were pissed, angry, happy. No, there was no emotion. Everybody was just like, just, you know what I mean? So I asked Uncle. I said,
Yeah, I do.
I was like, "What is this fish pennant for?" And he goes, "Well, that's the ability to express feelings and your felt needs." And he wants you to know that everybody he meets, he wants you to be able to express your feelings and needs without judgment.
Pretty cool
I was
gift.
blown away by that.
Nice giveaway.
I know what it was a complete giveaway. I mean, there was some other stuff in there too, but I just remember that it was like, wow, it's their day, but yet they made it kind of our day.
Well, that's what I'm saying about the King and Queen of Cups is that they're emotionally inclusive. They don't want anybody to be felt like they're out of the loop in that sense. So their wedding was definitely more about the people around them than it was about them. They're both very introverted characters. Much different than when we went to the party with the King and Queen of Wands. Remember that party?
Yeah, dude, that was like, well, first of all, I have never done so much talking in my life when I was at that wedding.
Yes.
I mean, and the conversation was
Same.
incredible. But I did not like the fact that you had your eye on that King of Swords, man. You were like, yeah. The path is inside you, and it's always just beginning.
We are forever grateful to share in the exploration with you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to Self Mastery, the practical art of tarot and astrology.